We're paddling as hard as we can, and the river just takes the canoe, it slams it against the wall, and it dumps us out.
So this is SpeakEazy open mic storytelling.
I said to him, Larry, you told me you knew how to canoe. And he said, yeah, on a pond.
It's an opportunity for people to come together and share stories almost as if you would share them within a small group of friends, but we've got a stage and a microphone.
Berg. Her first name was Deborah. But all the boys on the bus called all the girls by their last name because it was less personal and cooler, and so I was Kelleher and she was Berg.
You have 7 minutes to tell any story as long as it's true and it's your story.
She had a delicate china doll-like face. It was flat and round. And when she smiled, her eyes turned into like little half-moon slits.
On the other side of the pandemic, when things started opening up in 2022, I met someone who introduced me to open mic storytelling. I decided to check it out, and as things have progressed, decided to start an open mic night here.
When I moved here 3.5 years ago, no one knew me, and I'm not very social, but I thought maybe this storytelling thing is a good way for people to get to know me.
It's all about bringing different people from all walks of life together and sharing true stories from our lives.
Bergie Rongdong was her secret code name that I had for her because we made up our own language so that we could talk to each other in secret. So that when a boy sat next to us, we could say, "E wong wong, gong ro on song song." And only she knew what that meant. Ew, gross.
Especially being new here, I kind of want people to know me, but I want them to like me too. And storytelling kind of helps with that, right?
It's an open, judgment-free area for people to come and share true stories about their lives, get to know one another. Even if you don't want to tell a story, it's great to come and listen. You never know what you're going to hear.
Not only did we practice speaking in our own language, but we wrote songs.
And I love the laughter. Oh my God, that's the best.
The song that we sung on a regular basis was simply a chorus that we repeated over and over. Berg, what do you want to do today? Sit and sleep and watch TV and eat. And sit and sleep and watch TV and eat. And sit and sleep and watch TV and eat.
The guidelines are, no misogyny, no racism, don't go after marginalized groups, don't marginalize people. We certainly have uncomfortable, painful episodes in our lives. The challenge, of course, is being able to tell those stories in a way that is from our perspective, not passing judgment on other people or even passing judgment on ourselves.
We never spent much time at her house. There was something scary about it, and I was too young to know what was, at the time, considered normal or not normal. But whenever her dad came home, everyone scattered.
It helps us open up and share those, vulnerable, sensitive, intimate, funny, horrible, and painful episodes from our lives. And I really think that helps us connect a little bit easier and realize that, our neighbors aren't that much different than we are. We all have things that we agree on. We've all had experiences that have shaped our lives.
He comes back up to the car and he says, "Mr. Clark, can you please step out of the vehicle?" And so I, of course, am compliant.
For me, it started as a way to get comfortable standing in front of an audience again and doing public speaking. But also, there's something very liberating about just getting the truth out.
And I put my dugout on the trunk of the car. If you're wondering what that is, the cop says, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's marijuana."
I have my own sort of checkered past, and it's good to share those things out in the open. And invariably, it seems after an event like this, someone will come up to you and say, "Oh, thanks for telling your story. I identified with that a lot." And that's always been very satisfying and gratifying to make that connection with other people. And for at least between the two of us, we feel a little bit less alone.
When I'm listening to someone else's story, it's like getting a window into someone else's world that I otherwise wouldn't know anything about.
In Spanish, good looking is guapo. That's one word. So the parrot could say, "Paco, que guapo." Paco, que guapo, Paco, 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 que guapo.
often, I think, professionally and personally, we sort of end up in our own little silos, not necessarily communicating with other people with differing viewpoints.
Hi, I'm Owl, and I am going to tell this story a little bit circuitously because that is the only way I know how. I live in a very insular community, going to college, and then I have some friends who are older, but here is sort of a community of people who live in the community and are from all different ages. It's helpful for the self-confidence aspect to step out of my comfort zone and maybe talk about experiences.
I think listening to people's stories in person does a really good job of helping us see their experiences through their eyes, because it's live. The person is right there in front of you.
I cradle it in my palms and I look at it and I am so sure that what I'm holding is a goose egg.
We had snow in the house, and it was about 40 degrees up in the loft where we were sleeping.
1 week later, I'm at Carnival in Barranquilla.
This is not a video that you're going to scroll past on social media. It's not a TV show. It's not a movie. It's not fiction. It's not in a book. The person who went through that experience is right there in front of you.
And at family meals, no one was allowed to talk for the entire meal. It was total silence and creepy.
I think the only way we can exist as people in a wider community and relate to one another is if we see each other, if we're vulnerable in front of each other, if we hear each other's stories.
Feel free to stick around afterwards and talk with the tellers, talk amongst yourselves.
I love feedback, especially when they like it, of course. It's like, it's the greatest feeling ever. Because in a way, it's like validating, like, okay, I'm okay.
Okay, and then we have just one more thing to say, and that is go forth out into the world and continue sharing your stories. It's what knits us together. It's what brings us together. It's what helps us connect with one another and build empathy and build community. And with that, thank you all very much.